Chapter 100. Pressure from the Gu Hai. Gu Hai. Li Haren's eyes glared, and he shouted angrily. The forceful extraction of Master Liu Nian's energy also stopped. If it was in the past, Li Haren wouldn't have cared about Gu Hai, this little person. But nowadays, Li Haren had to be careful of Gu Hai, because from the innate remnant realm to the 9-5 islands layout of a chess watching elder, all of them were chess related. And during this period of time, Gu Hai's chess power had proved to everyone that chess power was magnificent, unstoppable, and not to be underestimated. Even if this dead chess game world, previously Meng Tai, had already controlled the whole situation, in the end, they were all easily cast by Gu Hai, Long Wanqing, and her servants, 3 pieces, then turned back into a victory, so that Meng Tai fell off the altar, a failure. 3 pieces, and it backfired. Now, Gu Hai himself came down. Ha, ha 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 ha. Gu Hai, Meng Tai, who was dying in the distance, looked at Gu Hai's arrival and seemed like he was about to have a seizure. Speaking of which, Meng Tai had never underestimated Gu Hai. It had always treated Gu Hai as if he were a great enemy. But even if he had defended himself against Gu Hai with all his might, in the end, he had not been able to defeat Gu Hai's gentle drop. In the face of Gu Hai, Meng Tai no longer has any thoughts of fighting. However, there is always a kind of unwillingness in his heart. He had done all he could. But why did he need someone who could do more than he could? If there was no Gu Hai, would he have succeeded? If I was born, why was Gu Hai born? Mr. Gu, you're finally here. Mr. Gu, help, please break the game. Mr. Gu, you're superb at chess. You can definitely solve this deadlock game, right? Maku, help. Mr. Gu, be careful of that big devil Li Haren. Countless cultivators saw Gu Hai and naturally revealed infinite expectations. Even if most of those who came to the 9-5 islands were originally here to snatch the 100 longevity peach, at this moment, they had long since lost their thoughts, and there was only one, and all of them looking forward to Gu Hai to save them. Master Lionian, are you all right? Gu Hai turned his head to look not far away. Pfft, can't die yet, ha ha ha. Master Quicksilver, who was in a pool of blood in the distance, spat out a mouthful of blood and laughed. Gu Hai, I'm sorry, I made a mess of things, Long Wanqing cried. All right, it's all right, I'm coming. Gu Hai smiled faintly and gently put Long Wanqing down. Hall Master, the 3 servants pounced. The great aggression was violently vented out. Long Wanqing was also much better at the moment, gently wiping away the tears from the corner of her eyes. Looking at Gu Hai, a wave of gratitude flashed in her eyes, because Gu Hai did not blame himself. Later, you go to Master Liu Nian's place. He will tell you what to do, Gu Hai said. Long Wanqing nodded. After explaining to Long Wanqing, Gu Hai stepped out and looked at Li Haren and smiled. Divine Machine Campmaster, I never thought that you are a chess player nowadays. Why don't you and I have a game? How about it? HMPH, you're also worthy. So what if you know how to play chess? Now it's just a chess piece. Give me a rise. Li Haren probed his hand and waved it at Gu Hai. Ah! Countless cultivators in the 4 directions all suddenly twisted in their figures, being swung around like puppets on strings. All of them were unable to control themselves, their faces showing horror, and only Gu Hai stood there, looming over them. What? Li Haren's face changed. Li Haren manipulated the golden chess pieces just to find out which thread was connected to Gu Hai, then so that he could control Gu Hai. Once Gu Hai was controlled, then wasn't he still at his mercy? However, at this moment, Gu Hai was not affected at all, but was walking towards Li Haren step by step. Camp Master Li, is it fun? Shall I wait for you to play a little longer? Gu Hai laughed. Impossible, you're not within my control, you're not white or black. Li Haren's face sank. You only see it now. Since I entered this game, how could I choose to be your pawn? That way, how can I play against you? Gu Hai laughed. HMPH. If it's not white or black, so what? Pawns will always be pawns, Li Haran said in a cold voice. As he spoke, Li Haran probed his hand and struck a palm towards Gu Hai. This palm mobilized the power of more than 60,000 cultivators, wanting to palm Gu Hai to death in one go in general. Rumble. More than 60,000 palm dancers suddenly appeared, spreading out towards Gu Hai. Seeing this scene, countless cultivators had to close their eyes. Gu Hai was great at playing chess. However, the strength appeared to be only at the innate realm. How could he possibly block it? Don't, Long Wanqing, who was walking away, steeply screamed in alarm. Boom, 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 boom. Under a series of loud bangs, more than 60,000 palm dangles crashed into each other. However, Gu Hai, who was located at the center of the palm dangles, remained lofty and unmoving. He stepped forward one step at a time. What? Li Haran's face changed. Even Master Liu Nian couldn't stand this blow. How could Gu Hai? Countless cultivators also widened their eyes, but they saw that around Gu Hai, it was as if there was a layer of air wall blocking it. A 10 feet diameter air wall. Boundary. Protective boundary. Steeply, someone shouted in alarm. A chess player. Gu Hai is also a chess player. How is that possible? Meng Tai, who was in weakness, stared with wide eyes, revealing incredulity. The two golden chess pieces, weren't they in Li Haran's hands? Li Haran should be the only one playing chess. How come he, Gu Hai, also had a protective boundary? Mr. Gu is also the chess player. Great, Mergu also has golden chess. Mergu, that's a protective boundary. The protective boundary of a chess player. Countless cultivators cheered at once. Li Haran looked at the two chess pieces in his palm and said with wide eyes, impossible. How do you also have golden chess pieces? How are you also a chess player? I'm in charge of both white and black chess. Slightly stunned, Li Haran's face changed and said, transparent chess pieces. You have mastered the transparent chess pieces. But wasn't the golden chess piece of the transparent chess piece destroyed by Wei Yong? Isn't it broken? The chess hasn't been finished yet. How could it be destroyed? Gu Hai said with a smile. Li Haran's face sank and a ferocity flashed in his eyes. He was no longer the only one playing chess. There was still Gu Hai. There was still Gu Hai. He was going to compete with Gu Hai. Outside the dead chess game, on top of the giant peony, Li Haran, because he was the chess player, had condensed a virtual image to come out, and his previous bout of frenzy had immediately caused the countless cultivators outside the giant peony to be in an uproar. No one would have thought that Li Haran would be so ruthless that after deceiving Long Wanqing, he would want to kill everyone, only for the legacy of the elder chess viewer. Just now, he even almost killed Long Wanqing. Li Haran is really sinister. He actually started cheating Long Wanqing a long time ago. For the sake of the Earth Dragon vein, he really will do anything. He's really looking for death. If he kills Long Wanqing, Grandpa Long Wanqing won't let him go. Luckily, he stopped, but the others are hanging by a thread. Look, Gu Hai has become a chess player too. Gu Hai and Li Haran are going to face each other. Gu Hai is also a demon. Yeah, those 30,000 plus demonized people were actually all killed by Gu Hai. They're all ruthless. Gu Hai is a little better. After all, it was the demonized people that were killed. The demonized people came out, but they wanted to eat people. Gu Hai is a demon remover. Look, they're going to fight. Li Haran is mobilizing everyone's power again. Gu Hai is the chess player. He has a protective boundary, blocking it. Countless cultivators stared wide-eyed. Within this dead chess game, there were 3 twists and turns. Watching the crowd of cultivators could not move their eyes more and more at this moment. Under a large tree halfway up the mountain, The unseen person was still quietly watching. Li Haran. I've never quite believed that he has the guts to do this. The unliving spoke softly, as if talking to the air next to him. I'll take another look. The girl's death can't be inexplicable. Let me see this Li Haran's methods, the unborn continued to say to the air beside him. And at this moment, on top of the giant peony, Li Haran was holding two golden chess pieces, and his silhouette was no longer standing on the south or north side of the board, but rather to the center, to the west side of the board. With an icy face, he looked at the opposite side. On the east side of the dead chessboard, the silhouette of Gu Hai slowly coalesced, and was currently looking at Li Haran on the opposite side with a cold smile. In the eyes of everyone outside, these two people, now in charge of this game of chess, were in the middle of a fight. Grand Duke, His Excellency and Li Haran are fighting again. Li Haran has more than 60,000 white and black pieces, but in His Excellency's hands, there are no more pieces are. Yes, the transparent pieces have all been killed by His Excellency. Now, His Excellency is empty-handed. What should we do? The crowd of villains worried. Gu Qin, however, shook his head and said, Don't worry, for chess, no one understands it as thoroughly as Righteous Father. Just watch carefully. Righteous Father will definitely be fine. Yes, the crowd nodded. In the middle of the dead chess game, Li Haran couldn't grasp Gu Hai's situation for a moment, but it was because he couldn't figure it out that his heart was even more bottomless. This was a chess game. It was still a chess game after all. If it was a martial arts fight, 100 Gu Hai would not be his opponent, but in the game of chess, I don't know how it will turn out. On the other side, Long Wanqing arrived at the place of Grandmaster Liu Nian. Grandmaster, are you alright? How are you now? Long Wanqing picked up Master Liu Nian worriedly. Quickly go. The few of us quickly hide. Master Liu Nian frowned. Huh. Gu Hai asked you to come to me. It's for me to bring you guys to hide. I don't know what other tactics Gu Hai has. But you and I are black and white chess pieces. We are all Li Haran's chess pieces. Li Haran, this villain. It's only a matter of time if he can beat Gu Hai. If he can't, he'll surely hold you and me hostage to use it to blackmail Gu Hai. Grandmaster Liu Nian coughed up blood and said, right? Long Wanqing's face changed. Not daring to hesitate, Long Wanqing took the three servants and quickly fled towards a hidden place in the distance. Battalion Master Long Wanqing and Master Liunian are running away. A divine mechanism battalion disciple called out abruptly. Li Haran raised his eyebrows and looked into the distance. Long Wanqing, who was fleeing in the distance, blanched. Camp Master Li, you wouldn't have already started to admit defeat and are preparing to use a woman to blackmail me, right? Gu Hai suddenly laughed.